Welcome back.
Guys, I got a cool story. Check it out.
All right.
We were just talking right now, and I was like, bro, we got to roll the camera because this is too good. So I heard this story. Kent Hovind. You guys don't know who Kent Hovind is. You got to check him out. He has a creation. Just type in Kent Hovind, the number one. It'll get you started. You'll believe everything the Bible says after that. Because he goes, it's Kent Hovind part 1 to 7. It's a 7-part seminar. It's incredible. So he's telling a story where he's going to he travels all over the country, and he used to speak just constantly. And he was at a museum, and his 10-year-old daughter was with him. This guy's explaining the geologic column, and he says the fossils in this column, let's say the Jurassic era, whichever one he said, we know those fossils are that old because they're in the Jurassic column, in the geologic column. And she said, "Sir, how do you know the fossils are that old?" He said, "Well, because they're in that column." So then they walk down to the next area, and then he's explaining the geologic column, and he says, we know the Jurassic is this old, and then he says it's 70 million years old. She raises her hand again, and she says, "Sir, how do you know it's that old?" And he says, "Well, because of the fossils we find in that specific strata." And she says, "Sir, isn't that circular reasoning?" And he said, "What do you mean?"
10 years old.
He said, "What do you mean?" And she said, he said, "What do you mean?" She says, "Well, earlier you told me that you date the column by the fossils, but now you're telling me you date the fossils by the column." and she said, "Sir, that's circular reasoning." And so this is Kent telling the story, and he says the guy looks from his daughter, and he looks at Kent, and he says, "I wasn't about to help him." And he thinks about it for a second. This is a guy he's done this presentation probably 1,000 times, and he looks at the girl and he says, "You're right. That is circular."
Yeah.
And so later that night, Kent was speaking in their area. He went to hear one of Kent's seminars, and he got saved that night.
That's a beautiful story.
Because of what Kent.